Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here. We are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Thursday, March 23rd slate of NBA action. I'm pretty excited to dive into it. Unfortunately, we do only have 4 games on the slate, but I did find 3 plays, one in each of the 3 games, and then I'm still waiting. I may end up adding one in the 4th game as well. I'm not 100% sure yet. But before we go ahead and dive into it, I did just want to go ahead and say that we are still currently on the road to 12,000 subscribers. At the time of recording this video, we are less than 100 subscribers away. So hey, if you guys are new, make sure you guys do go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. We are super close to the 12,000 subscriber mark. I'd love to be able to hit that as of tomorrow. Next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do, and thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me, so much more than you guys will ever know. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap as of yesterday, man. We would have been bringing out the shades, but unfortunately I did end up adding a added play in my pinned comment section and on my Twitter, so we ended up having a 3-in-1 day. Profit is profit, definitely, for sure, but if I would have just not added that play, man. So let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap as of yesterday. So we did end up having Nikola Jokic over 23.5 points versus Washington, minus 120 odds. This one ended up working out pretty easily. Jokic had a really good game scoring the basketball, and he really just never looked back. He kind of got things started in the very beginning of the game, came out hot, hit a couple shots, couple putbacks, and, you know, everything. He was doing a little bit of everything, and he just kept things rolling. So that one worked out really nicely for us. I believe that he had 16 points in the first half, and he had a really great game overall. Then we had Bam Adebayo under 19.5 points versus the Knicks at minus 130. This one, it started off a little bit rough. He scored the very first point of the game, or very first points, excuse me, of the game for the Miami Heat. Was definitely a little bit worried, but then after that, he did kind of slow things down. He had 4 points in the first quarter. He had 7 by halftime and 15 by the end of the game. So it ended up working out for us. Then we had Anthony Davis over 25.5 points versus the Suns at minus 125. Man, you want to talk about adding a gray hair to the top of my head. Anthony Davis only had 6 shots at halftime. He had a total of 6 points at halftime, and it ended up hitting. Barely. He finished with 27. Apparently the line ended up moving up to 26.5, and he still barely hit this over, but he did end up hitting it. So, hey, shout out to Anthony Davis. That was definitely something that I didn't think was going to hit, especially going into like halftime. I was like, this dude has as many shots as Troy Brown Jr. and Austin Reeves. There's just no way he hits it. But hey, he did. Shout out to Anthony Davis. You know, it is what it is. We ended up hitting that one. Then we had our one loss of the day, our added play. We had Walker Kessler over 22.5 points plus rebounds. Finishes with 8 points and 5 rebounds. You talk about a guy that did nothing but cardio in the second half. He was not good. He was not good whatsoever. And every time that he was actually in position to get a rebound, they made it. So it was really tough. Didn't play much of the fourth quarter. It was Lauri. It was Lauri Markkanen. Why didn't I take Lauri Markkanen? He's our guy. But it was just a good matchup versus Portland, and unfortunately it didn't end up working out. But we ended up going 3-1. Then we had our 2 leans from yesterday too. I was talking about if Scotty Barnes was ended up being out, to take a look at Siakam or Fred VanVleet's over. They crushed both of those. So just the wrong call by me. I should have went with any of my leans that I had, but we did end up going 3-1. We are currently on a 13-4 run with 5 straight winning days. Let's go ahead and keep that rolling. I think that we found 3 plays that are really solid value. So without any further ado, let's dive into it. For our first official play of the day, we are taking Markelle Fultz under 16.5 points here versus the New York Knicks at minus 115 odds. Now, if you take a look at it, Markelle Fultz has been pretty good here recently. He's gone over in 3 out of his last 4 games. So why would I want to be taking an under in this situation? Because even the Knicks, they give up the 8th most points per game to opposing point guards. So they're pretty good to that point guard position. So why in the world would I want to take an under on this one? Well, he's still gone under in 6 out of his last 10 games. So it's not like he's been crushing it over these last 10 games. He's still at a 60% hit rate. And this is not a traditional point guard. Markelle Fultz is not your traditional point guard when it comes to going up against the New York Knicks. He only averages 1.4 3-pointers attempted per game and only averages 0.4 3-pointers made per game. He does not shoot a whole lot. I think that comes as no surprise to anybody. He just doesn't shoot the ball very much. especially from the three-point line. He also only averages 13 points per game at home this year, which is 2.1 fewer than on the road. He is one of the players that is better on the road than he is at home, so I love the spot here for it. And New York Knicks, they do not allow any paint points, which is where Markelle Fultz gets most of his. They allow the fewest paint points in all of basketball, which is why we took Bam Adebayo's under yesterday. I'm thinking we're taking Markelle Fultz's under today, and I love it. And the only time that he has hit the over in his career versus the New York Knicks, there was no Mitchell Robinson. And Mitchell Robinson, as of right now, of course, is listed as active. So if he plays, I love this spot here. I think that he easily ends up going under. I think he stays right around the 10 to 13 points. So if you were to do a same game parlay and put 10 points in there, I think that you'd be pretty safe with that. But if not, hey, that helps our bet. But I really do love this one here for our first official play of the day. Markelle Fultz under 16.5 points here versus the Knicks at minus 115 odds. Now for our second official play of the day, we're going with Jared Allen over 10.5 rebounds here versus the Brooklyn Nets at minus 105 odds. He's going up against the team that did end up trading him. Obviously, he was on the Brooklyn Nets. He ends up getting traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I just love the spot as a revenge spot here for Jared Allen. He has crushed it here versus Brooklyn ever since he has been traded. He's hit this over in 5 out of his last 7 career games versus Brooklyn Nets, and he's gone over in 3 straight games just straight up, not even against the Nets. He's gone over in 3 straight games. He's gone over in 5 out of 7 career games, with one of those being a hook, one of those losses that he did end up having. So he's finished at least double digits in 6 out of his 7 career games. I think he gets to 11 here against us, and he's going up against Brooklyn, who does allow the second most rebounds per game to opposing centers and the most rebounds per game in the last 7 games. So this Brooklyn Nets team gives up a lot of rebounds to that center position, and I think that we see a ton of value here for Jared Allen. I think that he's going to be able to get it done. It's almost plus value too, which is another thing that I just love. And the 3 centers that are listed as true centers on this roster, you're looking at Nick Claxton, you're looking at Day'Ron Sharpe, and you're looking at Moses Brown. All 3 of those centers are inside centers. So he's going to be spending a lot of time around the rim. He is a shot blocking center, so if he ends up getting any sort of a block, there's a good chance that he ends up coming up with the rebound as well. So I love the spot here for Jared Allen. I think he feasts versus his old team. So I love the spot here for our second official play of the day. Jared Allen over 10.5 rebounds here versus Brooklyn at minus 105 odds. Now for our third and final play of the day, we're going with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, our boy, our money glitch, over 31.5 points here versus the Clippers at minus 105 odds. Now I know he ended up finishing right on the hook last game versus the Clippers, so I know, I get why you'd want to be skeptical about this one. He hurt you bad last time, but I don't think he lets us down today. He has gone over in 6 out of his last 8 games. He has been very solid. So despite that hook that he had, he's been really good to this line. And I think that we see another good game here from him. And the Clippers do allow the most points per game to that point guard position in the last 15 games. So basically, since they've gotten Russell Westbrook on the team, they've given up the most points per game in all of basketball to that point guard position. So they give up a ton of points here to a guy like SGA. And they also give up the 13th most points in the paint and the 7th most points in the paint in the last 3 games. So they give up a ton of paint points, which is where Shai ends up thriving. Shai loves to drive. He loves to finish right at the rim. And so with that being said, I think that this is a tremendous spot here for Shai. He's going to get you right around 20 shot attempts, and if he gets you even more than that, I guarantee you this goes over. So I love the spot here, and the PG injury for the Clippers is definitely going to hurt that defense quite a bit. Obviously, I hope that PG is okay, but I think that this injury does end up hurting him quite a bit. So I think that the Clippers defense is going to look a little bit different, and I think that Shai is going to destroy this defense. So I love this spot here for our third and final play of the day. SGA over 31.5 points here versus the Clippers at minus 105 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we are still currently on the road to 12,000 subscribers. We're less than 100 subscribers away, you guys. Please go ahead and hit that sub button if you guys are new. But that's going to do it for me. This is King Center signing out. Peace.